Howdy y'all, welcome back to my channel. And I think we're gonna wrap it up. My name's AR Kavli, and we're going to see if our heroes can be heroes or zeros. We left off last time. They had deposited Lady Sif, helped her get to her spot of penance, and she taught them, or she helped Lennox get attuned to this pine cone, the heart of the Ent, or whatever it was she called it. And they raced back to town. Now, like I said, they had been in the last episode. I was thinking that they had probably been followed, and I think, or how I'm going to play it, they were followed, and some of the cultists, maybe the two guys who went in and were with um, what's her name? Warber, the cult leader, as it turns out. Now she probably knew somehow, or at least had a suspicion, that Lady Sif had set the two, Lennox and Zell, on some kind of mission. So once the two guys followed them, and Warber realized that they were probably going to get the help of the druid. And she didn't know if that was going to happen or not, but they were going to do something with the druid, and it was going to interfere with her plans. So she stepped it up while they were gone, while they slept. She went into sacrifice mode, and she and the cultists started taking people out of their beds and sacrificing them. And as Zell and Lennox are they're actually trying to kind of sneak into town. They see that they're screaming, they're hearing people screaming, and some people are fleeing. They meet one person as they're trying to sneak up along the woods to see what's going on. They run across one of the villagers who screams, They've summoned some kind of demon, oh my gods!" And running off. They can't really get much else out of her. But they can see from where they're at as they approach that there are a crowd of people in the field by what was Lady Sif's house, now Warbur's. So there's something going on. It looks like uh, there's a crowd of people. They're screaming. They can't really see. Um, Zell, he would really love to get. He would really love to get his hands on some armor. And there's a mill. There's a forester. Now he actually has a trading post. And now he actually has two of his bags. All right, does he have saying in his inventory? Now he wore what he wore because of for encumbrance reasons, but now he just doesn't have anything, and he's getting ready. He knows there's something up ahead, some twisted ant that they're supposed to be fighting. Does he have access to chain mail, or know of someone in the village who might have some? I'm going to say it's because he's a peddler, and because he has his gear thing. How does that work? Now, I know it's not normally, you don't carry armor, you carry trade goods or whatever. The path of many things, seemingly endless line of knickknacks. You can find almost any item from the list of trade goods. All right. So it's obviously not something he's carrying, but we established at the beginning of the campaign that he did actually have a shop here. So does he? A Joker. The Joker's not even supposed to be in there, but I'm going to I'm going to say that the Joker means he does actually have a set of chainmail in his inventory. So the first thing they do, if I remember right, his little shed was actually right over here. So they run in there, and he's going to get some chain. I believe that's max armor of 6. I'll double check that here in a second. And I'm sure it's normal or heavy, one or the other. So he runs inside, and he's going to give him a scout. He's going to, because he's getting ready to toss his spyglass. He's going to leave his spyglass there so that he can carry without an encumbrance penalty. And so he's using his spyglass, looking over towards the mess and the screaming. Does he manage to get any useful information from that? No. All right. So he sees what he sees. There's too much going on, um, but he can't but fail to see what looks like an ant stomping around, and people are screaming. Oh gods! But I mean, he even with this item, he kind of realizes he needs some help. So he's running around. People are kind of screaming and all over the place, and so he's trying to gather people. Come on, come on! I have magic from Lady Sif to stop the monster. Let's see. He may want to leave his. He may want to save his willpower. So he's gonna just do like a general manipulation roll. Now he is pretty well known. He's got a good there. He's um, famous kind of among those people. Although he didn't come riding triumphantly home, they know that Lady Sif trusted him with something important. So, but they're also running for their lives. So I'm just going to give him the single +1. All right, so he does manage to get a couple of people who tend to act as the um, kind of the militia when things need be. And his next step, he's going to run in. He's going to try to get the elf, the old war veteran, in there to help him. Will he be able to do it? He rushes in, and there she is, just kind of she in her inattentive nature is knows something is going on. Um, she's armored up, and she has an elegant curved uh, two-handed sword. Master Lennox, how are you? What's going on? Don't you know? Haven't you seen? No. I need your help. I know you've seen your share of battles. There's a monster attacking an ant Now when he says ant, she opens eyes wide. He doesn't really know about the relationship necessarily between ants and elves, or at least if he has heard something, he doesn't understand it. He probably knows a little bit for having along the way to get the ant heart. He probably knows at least a little bit, but he doesn't have quite a great grasp of it. Let's go. And so he grabs her and a handful of people, and they sneak up as best they can, which actually uh, isn't going to be too hard because they're kind of in cover and they're screaming, and they're actually able. That's actually a pretty good spot to launch an ambush from. And what they see is this twisted ant, and the thing is terrifying. It's huge, and it's basically just crushing the villagers. There's 4 people in robes, and they're wrestling with the villagers. Some they're stabbing, they're bleeding out. Oh, my little token didn't quite come out quite right. Oh well. So they're stabbing and holding, and there is Warbur with a staff, acting like she's in command, but he gets the feeling that she's not really in command of this creature. It's just enjoying being killed, or not being killed. It's just enjoying the slaughter. It's killing these people of his village. Let me go ahead and let me put some tokens for our side here. And a couple of the men who had initially come, when they see the size of the beast and they see the bloodshed, they scream and run away. Now Zell, or he tells Zell to get torches ready. He tells the other men to get torches ready. They hand out some torches. And of course, this is not some dried out twig or whatever, but it is still made out of wood. And the elf warrior, she is completely, she seems completely enraged to see this creature, and she's ready to go. And he says, "Wait." And he pulls out the pine cone, when he takes a deep breath, because that is one terrifying monster. And he holds it up and he says, "I command you, Ent, to kill the robed ones." And his voice booms out. He knows how to make his voice carry out a little ways. And there's a pulse from the pine cone. And this is where we see if his big plan works. All right, so this is going to be a. Tell you what, I think for the first one, he's going to use that insight again. He's gonna spend a willpower to use his insight. Let's see. I wonder. Since I'm just kind of going off the cuff, I wonder if he should get a gear bonus for that. I mean, that's kind of what it's doing anyway, and it just kind of it's powerful enough just to allow him to do that. But I will give it a +1. I will give it a +1 gear bonus when he's trying to make these rolls. All right, 2. So that's 2 successes. And what I'm using is this Twisted Ent from the Book of Beasts. And to be honest, I may have bit off more than I can chew here. This thing's um, pretty tough. But his wits is only 1. And it is an artifact with a kind of specific role, so uh, I'll give it 1. I'll give it 1 die. But it does not. It doesn't know what to do with it. I mean, it's twisted, so it's not. Uh, Ents are usually, well, they're intelligent. They're basically elves in tree form. They're elf tree house transformers. And so it looks, and that pulse is kind of mirrored in its twisted eyes, and the cultists suddenly look up and they're like, what? And it steps forward and starts slaying, bruh. Let's see. I just roll and see what it does to these guys here real quick. A 3. Ensnaring tentacles. All right, one of the adventurers is ensnared. So I'll say one of the cultists is ensnared, and so it's a 10 base dice, damage 2. Oof. All right, 1, 2, 3. Let's see, 1. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 5 or 6, it's going to be a Warbur. Oh, so tentacles immediately shoot out of the ant's head and swipe at her. So it's a 10 dice attack. One, two, 3. All right, so it's a 3 and ensnaring tentacles, so damage of 2. All right, roll for the attack, 10 base. If hit, the adventure is also grappled. All right, so 2, 3, 4. Grappled. I think in this case, I'm not even going to give her a chance. I think she's completely surprised. So 2, 3, 4. And the tentacles grab her. They do 4 points of damage. Let's see. We'll give her a blunt because she's broken. That's 4 points. 2 and a 1. That seems kind of boring, I bet. Broken nose. Well, I'm going to say that it was broken because it wrapped around her head and the tentacle squeeze and the top of her skull pops open. And she is toast. Old Warborough. You got to be careful what you play with, don't you know? All right. So that'll be kind of like a surprise first round. Um, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the critter. Add turn. I'm going to add a turn for the cultists and then one for our team. And then one for the NPCs. They're mostly just going to be helping and whatnot, but just kind of give them chances to do stuff, see what happens. All right, so we're going to deal initiative. All right, so the cultists and then the monster. All right, so the cultists, they go first. Let's see. Oh, so we go last, dead last. Um, so the cultists, what are they gonna do? Goodness, this thing has just killed their cult leader. Um, Probably, I think they're going to try to run away. Let's see if they can. I'll give them a move roll to try to run away from this beast. Um, all right, so they are run away, scatter, ah! Because they don't want to fight it. This was supposedly their god, but now it's killed the killed the cult leader. He's going to try to run into the house. All right, the Ent. What is he going to try to do? He's probably going to try to attack the nearest one to them. I don't even know that he's necessarily still under control. Well, actually, his orders, because he was given that command, and Lennox was gave him the command to kill the hooded ones. So we will say he kind of runs towards these two, just cuz. And let's see what he does. 5. Devouring attack. The beastly creature embraces an adventurer, and a demonic maw full of fangs opens in the middle of the worm-eaten trunk. Roll for the attack with 9 base dice and a weapon damage 2. All right, so 9 base dice with a weapon damage 2 against this guy right here. I'll just use Lennox's sheet. 9. All right, so he hit him only with 2. I'll say he's kind of an average Joe. So he's down to 1 strength, but he's swallowed in 1 piece. All right, so we're just going to set him off. We'll mark him as let's see. There's a chemical bolt. That looks that looks all right. Well, I think for now we'll just we'll just mark him as being stuck in the ent somewhere. All right, so now it's apparent that the cultists are not going to like actually fight the monster. So our two sides really they're the same, I guess. Um, she's she's angry. She's going to attack, and I'm just let's see. I think I've got her stats somewhere. Well, she's a veteran warrior, so I'll give her 4 strength and 3 dice plus her sword. And yeah, I'm treating her a little bit different than a companion. Um, so that's all right. So 2, he's gonna try to he's just gonna try to evade. Does not evade, so he takes 2. And these guys are all just, they're like I said, they're kind of regular Joes who've just been doing the dark rituals and stuff with the now dead Marlborough or Warbur. And Lennox, okay, Lennox, he's this guy. He doesn't want that guy to get away, so he and Zell are going to attack him. All right, 1, 2. The cultist, he's gonna try to leap out of the way. Ah, so the cultist does leap out of the way, and he probably would still have been hit, except I once again forgot to put in my talents. But that's what you get for not remembering your talents, I guess. All right, so this cultist, I tell you what, I think they're just gonna keep trying to run. They're just gonna run. He leaps to the side, and he runs this way. This guy, I'm gonna try to give him. Let's see, he's gonna try to board himself up. Let's give him. Does he get in there? No, he does. All right, so he manages to leap through whatever that side door is and slam it shut and bolt it, even though he's maybe bleeding from the from the elf's blade. And this one's going to try to run away as well. All right, so he manages to get into the trees. But the ant is still chasing him. Let's see what the ant does against him. 2. Sweeping blow. The twisted ant sweeps its gnarled claw-like tree hands against 2 adventurers within near range. Roll for the attack with 9 base dice and weapon damage 2. Okay. I have a feeling that when it's Lennox's turn to have to fight this monster, that the monster is going to be rolling a little a little better than he has been. All right. 9 base dice, damage 2. All right. one hit, and you know what? I think this guy will try to dive out of the way. All right. So the ant hits with one, and the cultist jumps out of the way. It really, I know, I know exactly how this is gonna go. These unarmed, helpless cultists are gonna be able to survive, no problem. And then when it's time for Lennox to get after it, he's gonna get stepped on in like one turn. um, all right, so he's gonna tell Zell to shoot at this guy. She's trying to chase, and she tells these guys to come in through the front. And the front is open, so they charge in. And she's out here making sure he doesn't run away. And Lennox is going to, or Zell is going to try to shoot this guy. Well, let's see, does he have anything now? Okay, 2 hits with his longbow. Let's see. I think this guy's running, so he probably doesn't even know that he's been hit. So 2 hits with a longbow. That's going to leave him with 1. So the arrow flies and finds a mark on the dude's shoulder, and then the cultists. What are they going to do? This guy's still running, and so I think the ant is still going to chase him. Let's see, what's this guy going to do? He's terrified. He's just trying to get out of there. So he's going to duck around and keep running out this way, but he's now put that building between he and Zell. This cultist, what's he going to try to do? Is there another way out? I'm going to say there probably is. You know, it's kind of a larger looking type farmhouse, so there's probably 2 or 3. I'm going to say 4, 5, or 6. All right, so there is another way out. She's out here pounding to trying to get this door open that he's wedged shut. These 3 come bursting through the front, and he's going to try to leap out the back. So we'll give him his usual move roll to see if he can make his way outside as he's trying to leap away. Okay, he cannot. So he doesn't quite get out of the way while those guys are chasing through the house. He stumbles, or the door. He tries to pull it when it's supposed to be pushed at something, but he doesn't get out. The ant. What does the ant do as he's chasing this guy down? A 5. Another devouring attack. So it's 9 base damage, or 9 base dice. All right, 1. See, I think this guy might be down to 1 anyway. Or no, this is the guy he's attacking. He hasn't been hit at all. But he does get sucked inside. Chomp. Or actually, it's 2 base damage. So he's got 1 left. And we'll just put him in there. Both of those guys are inside. They're jammed in, they're jammed inside there. They've been swallowed by this thing's demonic attack. So they're both down inside. Um, this the demonic maw opened up and the teeth and sucked him inside to eat him. Now it's not super fast, but it's faster than it moves through the woods pretty well. It is a ent, even if it is twisted. All right, so this guy's here, and the NPCs they head after one. Lets the lady elf in, and she's just going to attack this guy because she, of course, hates him because she views what they have done to the ent, or blames the ent's condition on them, and is angry. All right, one hit. She's not going to push. She'll snap her sword. Well, she's fighting with a long sword in crowded area. There's a bunch of people, but she does manage to get a hit. I'll give that guy his chance to dodge out of the way. Oh, whoops, that is not correct. Let's see, and with a slash, so he's going to try to do it without leaping out of the way. Nope. All right, so her great sword. All right, so her two-handed sword does 3 points of damage, and all right, so that guy is toast. He tries to get out, but the others are blocking. He can't get in the way. Someone lets the elf lady in, and she leaps across and runs the guy through as he tries to duck away, but it's not happening. One of the other guys says, "Johnny, I can't believe that you would be part of this." All right, so they look over the dead body, and what is Lennox? Get him, Zell. Zell's gonna move over here, and he's gonna try to shoot again. As this guy is running away. Let's see. It's got a long range. All right, so that's two. Boom. 4 and a 3. Let's see what that 4 and a 3 does. For impale. Stab. 4, 3. Ow, pierced eye. So that guy, I I guess since he's broken and he's the bad guy, we're just gonna say that arrow just lands in the back of his head and comes out through his face. Oh! All right, so now the ant, okay, the cultists. Well, there's two cultists inside. They're kind of screaming. They've got daggers and stuff. They don't even, I don't know that they would even think about trying to chop their way out of this. They're probably just praying and screaming and carrying on. So, what does the Ent do? I think the Ent, being twisted and not seeing anything else, the Ent is going to make his way towards the house. And what? Yeah, I think that's what he's going to do. And what is he going to do? He's going to do a 1. Demonic roar. The demonic ant lets out a rumbling roar of anguish. All adventurers with a short range suffer a fear attack with 8 base dice. Yikes. Um, so he comes up to the back of the he comes up to the back of the house and lets out this demonic roar that blows in the shutters, and everyone inside has got to make an 8, or has to take this 8 base die fear test. Um, Ooh, 1, 2, and 3. Let's see. So 3 fear. 8 base dice. Suffer a fear attack with 8 base dice. I need to actually, I need to look up, refresh myself on fear attacks. I don't know if they get any kind of roll or anything. Let me be right back. All right, a fear attack is rolled with a number of base dice. Each sword roll causes 1 point of damage to wits. Oh, they have, let's see, some fear attacks. Oh, man. I think that might have just wiped out my entire auxiliary force. uh, all right, so I'm going to say she's a warrior, so I'm going to give her 4. And then she's a veteran warrior, 3. And I guess I'll give her 4 wits. I think elves are kind of witty. And those guys don't, though. So, as this monster screams in horror, we'll just kind of make one roll to see what kind of effect. A 2 and a 1. Okay, well that's not too bad. So, um, oh, white hair. All right, so they are broken. These guys are all broken. They crawl back. Now, of course, just because they're broken doesn't mean that the this ant is not going to start going in there and treating them like snacks, reaching in and looking for num nums. All right, so that's the ant. Oh, I think I may have given myself too much to do. All right, so dang, plus these guys have torches too. That might not be good. So the twisted ant roars, and the men of the village, or the warriors or whomever was decided to help, they all scream and their hair turns white from this demonic roar, and they huddle and curl up under the pieces of furniture that they can find nearest to them. The elf warrior lady, she leaps out. She actually is going to. She also needs to take 3. fear. And she's going to attack. Of course, this dude's got like 10 armor. So she... Oh, good grief. One hit. One hit. She's kind of an NPC, so I won't have her push this time, I don't guess. One hit, and then this guy is going to have 10 armor dice. So 3 points of damage. And she oh, no. It stops nothing. Okay, so that's good. So now it's only down to, what, 40? Okay, it's down to 33. So it's down to 33. All right, so she leaps forward and takes a chunk out of it. And let's see. All the cultists, well, they're inside. So I'll skip the cultists. Oh, no, it's Lennox's turn anyway. Gosh, what is Lennox? He's going to try to tell it to... he's just going to tell it to freeze. Don't move! And we'll see if that'll work for Lennox. So he's going to be doing a manipulation. And I think, I think he's gonna use his insight. He's gonna use another willpower. And get his +1. One? Really? One? And then he gets 1. Roll back. All right, so the ant freezes again. Now, the Book of Beasts actually describes kind of sensitive of music. The effect ends immediately if the music, so... All right, so we'll say that he's frozen. The cultists don't do anything. The ant doesn't do anything. And she's going to just try to wail on him. Let's see. Does the house catch on fire? They screamed and ducked, but they also had torches. Does it catch on fire? Ace of diamonds. I'm going to say that's probably true. Let's see. Yes, no, oracle. Exceptional, yes. So the house, oh, good grief. The house not only catches on fire, but there is some kind of reagent in there that explodes. And so everybody nearby, which is going to be the elf, the ant, and all the people inside there cowering, are going to take... It's an exceptional yes. I'm going to say they're all going to take like a 5-die attack. And I'll just do each one separately. Just because I'm curious. They're broken anyway, but... Boom! Excuse me. All right, so that first guy, no. The second guy, no. the third guy. All right, so he's gonna take one. So that's actually not too bad. Those guys were probably whatever exploded must have maybe been high, and they were all cowering under tables, and so they were protected from the explosion. Now let's see. Of course, our elf lady. She's probably going to get blasted to pieces because she's the one we need to actually be helping. Yes, yes, of course. So she's going to take two from the explosion. And then the ant, who's probably not going to take any. Although because it's wooden, I'm going to say if he gets hit that he might that he'll catch on fire. Well, no, I don't get hit. Just you. Uh, all right, so the ant. Oh, did I give her an attack on him? I think I may have forgot to do that. Um, okay, yeah. So she, I should have. I think I kind of got myself out of order there. So before now she gets blasted, but she's going to be a 4, 3, and then a 2, and because the ant is frozen by the command, I'm gonna give her some extra dice. Because the ant is frozen by the command, I'm going to give her some extra dice. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 points of damage. And the ant gets 10 armor dice. 1, 2, 3, 4. Kerchop. But the ant's thick bark fills it. Oh, but. So as her elven greatsword bounces harmlessly off the bark, the beast is now angry again. Now it's Lennox's turn. Now I'm kind of at a point where I mean that's kind of what this thing does. That this heart controls them. Um, hmm. Well, I guess I want it to work out well and be kind of a good, a good tool, a good story without just being too uh, cheesy. I guess playing solo, I try not to worry about being cheesy necessarily because that's one thing that when you're playing solo, it's very easy, at least for me. And if you're like me, you're always afraid that you might be cheating, right? And so I am, I'm always I've mostly gotten over that, but there are some times where it's like, wow, this is really a good idea. If I were a GM and someone else came up with the idea, say, hey, that's a great idea. Let's run with it. Um, but they ran. This is their prize. This is what they've got. And sooner or later, he's probably going to come up with all zeros. Um, Now the house has exploded and it's on fire. So he's going to order the ant to go stand in the house on fire. What I will probably do with the ant is give him some bonus dice on that, because even though he whatever is has low wits and is like demon possessed. Oh, I guess I should just double check, make sure that they're not immune to immune to fire, since they're kind of demony. Let's see. Nope, it's mostly the music. All right. So he's going to once again try to give it some orders with the artifact, and because it is okay, because it's getting close, because it's really the what he needs. He needs to win, so he's going to issue commands. Go into the house and stay there. Ah, not a single one. All right, well, you know what? I think he's got to push that one. He's got to push it. Oh no. Well, sometimes things work out. Um, so I'd given it a one die gear, and whenever that die, for your equipment, my initial instinct is to say that go stand now, and the ant. So it's got 3 successes, so that's pretty good. And then the pine cone shatters in his hand. Whoa! And maybe it was just a bridge too far. Let's give our ant. We'll give him 2 bonus die, because he's being asked to do something pretty bad, or that's not good for him. All right, so nothing there. So 3 dice, that 3 successes. That's pretty good. So the ant walks into the fire. He knocks the door in, the wall in, and Lady Sif's house goes up even in more blaze. I mean, it already had blown out because of the explosion, but it walks in there, and unfortunately, these guys here, this guy, he tries to crawl out. He manages to get out, but the other 2 are consumed by the flames and stepped on by that guy. But now he's in this raging fire, and he is, and of course, the command was to stay there. So he's staying there, but he can attack the elf, and actually it can attack every round now. On its turn, I'm going to say that it's because it's standing in the middle of this kind of burning conflagration. And its armor's not going to help, but it will get. I'm going to say that that's a 6d fire, and then if it gets hit, it's going to stay on fire. All right, so two fire points, and he's on fire. 31. And he's on fire. Let's see. I think there might be a fire emblem. Let's see. La, 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 la. All right. Well, we'll just use that. And so the ent is now, twisted ent is now on fire, and these demonic larvae that are always coming out of it, they're popping like huge bugs as the raging fire is burning around. Because it's a druid's house and then a cultist's house, so there's probably, like I said, weird reagents. That's what set it off in the first place. But the ent, what's the ent going to do? Oh, another, yeah, 1. So that is it roars in pain and anger. Let's see. I don't know that they're in short range or not. I guess I should probably double check that. Before they weren't. They've been staying over there. He's been yelling. Zones and ranges. Okay. So it's into zone. Zone is a room or an area of ground. It's about 25 meters. I think I'm gonna say that they are outside that zone. That looks like a kind of a big field, and I think they're far enough away. But she is not, so she's gonna take 8 dice. Our elven warrior veteran. 2. I think that breaks her. Yep. All right, so she is broken as she witnesses the burning, screaming ent, twisted ent. She is broken. And let's see what kind of broken she is. 3-1. All right, so once again, my microphone turned off, and I lost about 20 minutes of audio about the rest of this battle. So what I'm going to do is, now that I'm done cursing and, kicking small animals and things like that, I didn't really, but I'm just going to narrate through what I ended up rolling and how the battle continued. And maybe that's a good thing, because now you won't have to, kind of watch me roll the dice. But here's all there's all these dice rolls that comprised this this remaining battle. The elven warrior Nia, she collapses onto the ground in terror, and she starts to try to crawl away. But the twisted ent, screaming in a demonic sound, a demonic timbre of elvish, reaches forward, reaches down, and Lennox and Zell look on in horror from the house that they have run into to stay out of the beast's sight, as it lifts her up And the demonic maw, once again, its huge teeth opening up within the trunk. They can see already the dead cultists inside, their body parts flopping and rolling and lolling as the tree tries to move, tries to fight its command to stay in the fire. And the elf warrior Nia, she screams as she is lifted into this gigantic maw, but there's not enough room in the trunk to fit her whole body. So the maw shuts, the teeth tearing her in half, and the ent pulls her body away, her intestines trailing from its teeth, its maw, and over to the remains of her body. And then it rips her legs apart and throws one into the woods and one into the field. And it screams in rage as elven blood is drooling down from its mouth. And it struggles and it's struggling. It's trying to break free of its command. They can tell as the fires burn and rage and continue to lick up the body of the ent. I hope it doesn't try to figure out to stomp the flames. It could stay in place and stomp them out. Shut up. Don't give it any ideas. But the ent has no such thoughts. You can tell that the demonic stupidity in its eyes only for rage and murder. And it tries to pull, but the command from the now shattered artifact is too strong in its mind, and the flames, as they watch, hidden away, trying to stay out of sight. It knows where they're at because it occasionally will glare at them and scream, but they are far enough away that it can't do anything to them as long as they stay hidden. They keep out of its way and make sure not to attack it or provoke it, just to make sure it doesn't get any extra inspiration to break its bonds. And it doesn't. And it screams, and waves of these demonic larvae that they had not really been close enough to see, but they're rolling out from in between the cracks in the bark. They come out into the flames and immediately burn away or explode. And the demon tree is screaming and screaming, and with a loud ripping crack, one arm falls heavily to the ground, crashing against the floor, scattering more fire, more embers. And now it's just bellowing up to the sky as the fire consumes it. It doesn't stop screaming. Lennox is starting to cover his ears because the howling is so loud, so deafening. One of the legs splits in the middle as it pops out. More of these larvae fly out into the fire and are immediately burned away. And then it collapses to the floor of the burning house. And with a final ripping crack, the trunk of the body splits apart and flames burst out. And just for a second, Lennox thinks, he imagines maybe, that he can see Nia's face burned back in a rictus of death. Her elven ears wilted in the flames, dulled by the heat, dulled by the bite that ripped her in half. And then finally, the rest of the building starts to collapse in on itself and onto the monster. And soon the only sound is that of the fire and of the sobbing survivors who are starting to gather in their numbers to watch the blaze as they realize that the monster has been killed. The bodies of their families are still piled, those who were sacrificed, those that were ripped apart by this twisted end. And yet, many are afraid to approach, knowing there's nothing that they can do. Some do come, of course, weeping over the bodies of their lost loved ones, sacrificed by the cultists or fed to the monster that's now roasting in Lady Sif's ex house. This man here, he does manage to crawl away, his eyes wide in terror, singed his white hair, his now white hair, singed at the edges from the heat of the blaze, till some of the other villagers find him crawling and haul him away. He is changed by the experience, strengthened, and in time, he becomes the leader of Coldbreach. Most people watch until the house with the giant demonic monster in it is nothing but gray ashes and ember. It does not come up again. Nor do they ever see Lady Sif again. Lennox imagines that perhaps she adopts an undead life in that chamber of her penitence. But he doesn't know. That's beyond him. What he does know is that the thought of returning to his sleepy peddler's house here in Coldbreach and just getting by is no longer an option. He's been out on the road, he's seen things, he's met people, including beautiful other traders in other towns. And he can't settle back down. So he ends up building a little cart for Chauncey to pull. And he begins traveling again, opening up trade routes. And he leaves Coldbreach far behind. He can never bring himself even to visit the place. Zell, for his part, what he wanted, what he had been searching for, what he wanted from Lennox, going back to way in the beginning of his character creation, was he wanted an adventure and he wanted reputation. Because Zell, it must be said, he handled himself very well in these dangerous situations. And he returns to his people. His name now inextricably tied to the adventures of Lennox, the peddler. Coldbreach does recover, and under this man's leadership, it even starts to prosper again down the road. As for Lennox, the rest of his tales are for another day. We're going to wrap it up because this is a good spot to end it. On my channel, I like to hop from one system, one game, one campaign to another. And this is a good time to end this one. I had a lot of fun with it. And I appreciate everyone who left comments and followed along with my storytelling. I had a blast, and I'm going to make a shorter video, a separate video, which will be basically just my thoughts on the solo system for Forbidden Lands. Um, anyway, I appreciate everybody, like I said, who came along, and I do have other solo campaigns on my channel if you're interested in seeing how I deal with other things. I have my next campaign in mind. It won't be with Forbidden Lands. It'll be with one of my other favorites. And happy gaming.